The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space, glittering like countless diamonds scattered across velvet. Humanity had finally reached the edges of its imagination. After decades of effort, the most ambitious project in human history was complete: the Battleship Titan. Not a mere warship, it was a marvel of engineering, a symbol of human determination and ingenuity. On the launch platform orbiting Earth's largest space station, engineers, diplomats, and military officers crowded in awe. The Titan was colossal, more than a kilometer long, its hull shimmering with reflective alloys designed to withstand anything the universe could throw at it. Its engines, powered by quantum cores, were capable of propelling it to unimaginable speeds, while its shields could absorb energy blasts that would destroy entire planets. Captain Arya Singh, the youngest officer ever to command such a vessel, stood on the bridge, her hands lightly resting on the railing. Her eyes were fixed on the vast expanse before her, heart pounding with anticipation. "Initiating launch sequence," she announced calmly, though inside, a storm of excitement raged. The crew responded in perfect harmony. Lights blinked, alarms buzzed softly, and the Titan hummed as if it were alive. Slowly, almost reverently, the massive ship detached from the station. As it floated into the void, a collective cheer rose from the observation deck. Humanity's greatest creation was finally free among the stars. The first mission was not a battle but a demonstration of precision and protection. A nearby human colony on the edge of the Orion sector had reported a rogue asteroid swarm threatening its orbit. No previous ships could neutralize such a threat safely. Attempts always carried the risk of catastrophic debris. The Titan, however, was different. Arya's voice cut through the tense silence of the bridge. "Activate defensive protocols. Target asteroids in descending order." The ship responded instantly. Energy pulses formed around each asteroid, gently nudging them off course. Laser-guided drones attached to the Titan's hull zipped forward, creating controlled explosions to fragment larger rocks. Within minutes, the swarm had been neutralized without a single casualty on the colony. Observers from across the galaxy, watching via advanced communication arrays, could hardly believe what they were seeing. The humans had done what no one else had ever done: protect without harming, neutralize without destruction. "Incredible," whispered Ambassador Rylak of the Orvani species. "They are not just strong, they are precise." Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. Humans celebrated their victory, proud not only of the technology but of the crew's skill. Yet, in distant sectors of space, whispers began to circulate. "If humans can do this, what else can they do?" other civilizations murmured. Some feared them, others envied them, but all watched carefully. Life aboard the Titan continued, blending discipline with the quiet thrill of adventure. The crew trained rigorously, preparing for missions that might stretch beyond known space. Every day brought new lessons about teamwork, problem-solving, and the resilience of the human spirit. Arya walked through the corridors often, greeting engineers and scientists who tinkered with the ship's systems. She noticed small details that others overlooked: the way a shield matrix could be slightly optimized, or how a minor adjustment in the engines could save precious energy. One evening, as the Titan drifted through the silent beauty of a distant nebula, Arya stood on the observation deck, watching the stars swirl in vibrant colors. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Marco Rivas, joined her. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Marco said softly, awe in his voice. Arya nodded. "It reminds me why we do this. Not for war, not for conquest, but for discovery and for protection. We carry humanity with us in every bolt and every system." Their moment of reflection was interrupted by the ship's AI, Helix, speaking in its calm, precise tone. "Captain Singh, sensors detect an unusual energy signature in Sector 7 Gamma. It does not match any known stellar phenomena." Arya's brow furrowed. "Could it be a new star or anomaly?" "Unknown, Captain. probability of artificial origin is high, Helix replied. Without hesitation, Arya issued the order. Prepare a probe. Let's find out what we're dealing with. Minutes later, a small probe launched from the Titan, moving swiftly toward the energy signature. Data began streaming back, revealing a massive structure orbiting a dying star. A ship, or perhaps a station, far older than any human record. Its surface was scarred and weathered by time, yet it radiated a strange, almost regal power. The crew exchanged glances, a mixture of fear and excitement in their eyes. Humans were explorers, yes, but this was uncharted territory. Helix, scan for life forms, Arya commanded. Multiple life readings detected, Helix responded. Species unknown. Hostile potential cannot be determined. The Titan advanced cautiously, energy shields humming. Arya knew that first contact would define humanity's place in the galaxy. She took a deep breath. Open a communication channel. Let's see if we can make first contact peacefully. A holographic figure appeared on the Titan's bridge. Its form was unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Tall, angular, and glowing faintly with bioluminescent patterns. The alien's voice resonated directly in their minds, a melody of tones that the ship's AI translated instantly. You are humans. You wield power beyond reckoning, it said. Why have you come here? Arya stepped forward, her voice steady. We seek knowledge, not war. We explore, we protect, and we learn. We come in peace. The alien's eyes, or what passed for eyes, narrowed. Humans are unpredictable. Your technology is dangerous. Do you understand the responsibility you bear? Arya nodded. Yes, that is why we act carefully and with respect. Power without control is meaningless. We intend only to do good. The alien considered her words, then vanished from the communication channel. The bridge was silent except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Helix broke the quiet. Captain, the alien did not attack. They may be testing us, Arya exhaled. Then we pass the first test. Humanity's strength is not in destruction, Helix, but in choice. We choose to protect, to innovate, to rise higher. The news of this encounter spread quickly. Humans had made first contact without firing a weapon, showing intelligence and restraint that surprised the galaxy. The Titan was now more than a ship. It was a symbol of human potential, a statement that humanity was ready for the stars. Yet, with recognition came scrutiny. Reports of the Titan's power reached the Galactic Council, the governing body of interstellar civilizations. The Council watched closely, and not all were pleased. Rumors swirled that humans were becoming too powerful, that the Titan's existence upset the delicate balance among species who had long maintained dominance over the galaxy. On Earth, celebrations continued, but Arya knew the calm would not last. We've shown what humans can do, she said quietly to Marco, but now everyone is watching. Every action we take will be judged. We must be ready for anything. Days later, the Titan continued its journey through uncharted space. The crew trained relentlessly, refining their skills, testing new technology, and exploring unknown star systems. Each mission revealed more about humanity's resilience, creativity, and courage. In a quiet moment, Arya reflected on how far humanity had come. Once, humans were confined to a single planet, struggling to survive. Now, they navigated the galaxy with intelligence, ethics, and determination, proving that even among the stars, human spirit shone brightest. As the Titan drifted toward the next unexplored system, Arya looked at the crew assembled on the bridge. She smiled, proud. We are humans, she said, and we are ready. In the darkness of space, the Titan moved like a sentinel, a beacon of hope and power. The galaxy had never seen anything like it before, and whispers of human ingenuity began to spread from one system to the next. Some spoke in awe, others in fear, but all acknowledged one truth. Humanity had awakened, and with awakening came responsibility. The true test of the Titan, and of humanity itself, was only just beginning. The Titan's engines glowed softly against the darkness of space as it moved steadily toward the next star system. Captain Arya Singh stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the railing, her mind full of the recent events. The encounter with the alien structure had proven humanity's intelligence and restraint, yet she sensed that not all eyes across the galaxy looked on them with admiration. Lieutenant Marco Rivas approached her, carrying a data pad filled with incoming messages. "Captain, we've received communication from the Galactic Council," he said, his tone serious. "They want a formal meeting regarding the Titan." Arya's brow furrowed. "A meeting after our peaceful demonstration," Marco nodded. "Apparently, some members are concerned about the power of the Titan. They describe it as unpredictable and potentially dangerous." Arya exhaled and turned to the crew. "Prepare the ship for travel to the designated coordinates. We'll attend the council meeting and show them humanity's intentions. We act responsibly, and we must prove it." The Titan made the jump to the council's assembly sector, a vast space station floating between three suns. It was an architectural wonder, with spires of crystal-like material reaching high into orbit, connected by arcs of glowing energy. Representatives of dozens of alien civilizations were already present, their forms as diverse as the stars themselves. As the Titan docked, Arya could feel the weight of expectation. This was the moment humanity's place in the galaxy could be defined. She stepped onto the council chamber, flanked by Marco and other key officers, each carrying the quiet confidence that had brought them this far. The council chamber was immense, a circular hall that shimmered with the energy of countless civilizations. The air vibrated with authority and age. Members of the council, beings of immense intellect and experience, watched silently as the humans entered. A voice echoed through the hall, deep and resonant. "Humans," it said, "you bring a vessel of unmatched power to our attention. Explain yourselves." Arya stepped forward. "Honorable council members, we come in peace. The Titan is a tool of protection and exploration. We have no desire for conflict. Our mission is to safeguard life, discover knowledge, and act responsibly in the galaxy." One of the counselors, a tall being with translucent skin and golden veins, spoke next. "Power without control is a threat to stability. The Titan demonstrates strength beyond any single civilization. How can we trust that humans will not disrupt the balance we have maintained for millennia?" Arya held her ground. "Trust is earned, not assumed. That is why we are here, to demonstrate that our strength is matched by our responsibility. We have neutralized threats without harm, solved problems others deemed impossible, and approached every situation with caution and ethics." Another counselor, a serpentine creature with deep violet scales, hissed softly. "Your claims are impressive, but words cannot replace action. There are those among us who believe the Titan itself must be restricted. A ban may be necessary to protect the galaxy." The hall fell silent. Arya could feel the tension in the air, the unspoken fear and skepticism radiating from the other civilizations. Humanity had made a great leap, but the leap had been noticed, and not all were pleased. Arya spoke again, her voice steady. "We are not a threat. Humanity has always faced challenges and adapted. We have the ability to learn, to collaborate, and to act ethically. Restricting us now would not protect the galaxy. It would only limit progress and understanding." For hours, the council debated. Alien species argued about human unpredictability, the destructive potential of the Titan, and the risk of giving humans too much power too quickly. Humans listened and responded calmly, providing evidence of the Titan's safety protocols, the crew's training, and the non-lethal outcomes of previous missions. Finally, the council voted. A formal ban was placed on the deployment of ships like the Titan beyond human-controlled space. Humans were forbidden from creating vessels of similar scale without explicit approval. The decision was met with applause from some, silence from others, and a cold, calculating glare from a few. Arya's jaw tightened. She had expected resistance, but this felt like a punishment rather than a dialogue. "We cannot ignore this," she whispered to Marco as they left the chamber. "We must find a way to demonstrate that humans are responsible without violating their rules." The Titan returned to human-controlled space, but the crew knew that the Council's ban would affect every mission and every exploration in the future. They began a rigorous schedule of exercises, simulations, and outreach programs to demonstrate human skill and restraint. One of the first missions after the ban was to a nearby planet facing a natural disaster. A storm of unprecedented size threatened to destroy settlements, and the local population looked to the Titan for help. Arya and her crew worked quickly. Using the ship's technology, they redirected energy flows to stabilize the planet's atmosphere, preventing widespread destruction. Drones and automated systems rescued endangered colonies, and the crew ensured that no life was lost. The operation was a complete success. Yet, despite the achievement, the Galactic Council remained skeptical. Reports of the Titan's actions were scrutinized heavily, and humans were under constant surveillance. Alien ambassadors began visiting the ship under the guise of diplomacy, but many were spies seeking weaknesses. Arya addressed her crew one evening as they prepared for another inspection. "We have faced challenges before," she said. "Now our ingenuity and ethics are being tested in a new way. The galaxy doubts us, but we will show that humans rise to every challenge, not through force, but through intelligence, teamwork, and responsibility." The next challenge came unexpectedly. A secret faction of the Council, fearful of human potential, attempted to sabotage the Titan. Communications were intercepted, and minor system malfunctions began appearing across the ship. Helix, the ship's AI, alerted the crew immediately. Captain Singh, multiple subsystems show unusual interference patterns. Probability of deliberate sabotage, high. Arya's eyes narrowed. Isolate the affected systems, track the source. For hours, engineers worked tirelessly. The interference was traced to a remote energy relay that had been covertly manipulated by the alien faction. The Titan's crew devised a clever solution. They rerouted power through redundant systems, corrected the malfunctions, and countered the sabotage without alerting the saboteurs. When the threat was neutralized, Marco smiled with relief. They underestimated humans, again. Arya nodded. "That's their mistake. Humans are not just powerful, we are clever, adaptable, and persistent. Every challenge makes us stronger and smarter." The success of the counter-sabotage spread quietly among other civilizations. Many began to see humans as more than just a potential threat. They were a species capable of thinking beyond brute force, capable of strategy, ethics, and innovation. Even some members of the Council began advocating for a reassessment of the ban. In the meantime, the Titan continued its missions, balancing exploration, protection, and diplomacy. Arya and her crew encountered new worlds, each presenting unique problems that tested their ingenuity. They solved conflicts with diplomacy rather than aggression, rescued civilizations from natural disasters, and unveiled knowledge that advanced understanding across the galaxy. One particular mission brought the Titan to a sector plagued by a massive energy storm, threatening to destabilize a network of inhabited planets. The Council had refused to intervene, citing regulations. The humans acted anyway. Using the ship's advanced technology, Arya directed controlled energy bursts to dissipate the storm gradually. It was a delicate operation that required precision, coordination, and quick thinking. Every crew member played a critical role, and the operation was a complete success. The planets were saved, and the inhabitants hailed humans as heroes. Messages of gratitude reached the Council itself, highlighting that humans could wield incredible power responsibly, for the benefit of all, rather than for dominance or conquest. Yet, Arya knew the greatest challenge was still ahead. While humans had proven their skill and ethics, the Council's formal ban remained in place, a constant reminder of suspicion and fear. One evening, as the Titan drifted through the silence of space, Arya stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. Marco joined her, holding a small data pad filled with communications from grateful civilizations. "They see our worth," Marco said softly. "Even some of the council members are beginning to change their minds." Arya nodded, her eyes reflecting the distant starlight. "It will take time, but we will continue. Humanity's strength is not just in technology or weapons. It is in our intelligence, our courage, and our ability to act ethically. We will earn respect, not through fear but through trust." As the Titan continued its journey, it became a symbol across the galaxy. A testament that humans, though young among the stars, possessed qualities that could shape the future. Their ingenuity, teamwork, and moral compass were unmatched, and slowly, whispers of admiration began to replace whispers of fear. Yet the Council's ban remained, a shadow over humanity's achievements, a challenge to overcome. Arya knew that the next steps would require even more creativity, more courage, and even greater demonstrations of human ingenuity. And humanity was ready. The Titan sailed onward, through the stars and toward uncharted territories, carrying not just the weight of its own power, but the hopes and dreams of an entire species determined to prove itself to the galaxy. In the darkness of space, among stars that had witnessed countless civilizations rise and fall, humanity had begun to shine, not as conquerors, but as guardians, thinkers, and creators. And the true test of the Titan, and of humanity's place in the galaxy, was only beginning. The Titan glided silently through the star-studded expanse, its hull gleaming faintly under distant suns. Captain Arya Singh stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the far reaches of space. Every mission, every encounter, every challenge had led them to this moment. The Galactic Council's ban still hung like a shadow over humanity, but Arya knew the crew had proven themselves. Still, she sensed that a final test was approaching, one that would determine humanity's true place in the galaxy. Lieutenant Marco Rivas approached, his expression serious. "Captain, Helix is picking up unusual energy fluctuations near Sector 12 Zeta. It doesn't match anything in our database. Probability of artificial interference high." Arya's eyes narrowed. "Could this be another sabotage attempt?" "Unknown, Captain," Helix responded. "However, readings suggest the source is deliberate and coordinated. This is not random." Arya took a deep breath. "Then we must be ready. Alert the crew and prepare for immediate deployment." Within hours, the Titan reached the source of the energy signature. Orbiting a dying star was an enormous alien structure, ancient yet remarkably advanced. It radiated energy so powerful that it warped nearby space, a relic of a civilization long gone but still capable of immense technological feats. As the Titan approached, a fleet of unknown ships emerged from the shadows. They were sleek, fast, and clearly armed. This was no accident. Humanity had walked into a trap. "Captain," Marco said, gripping the console, "they're trying to block our path. Resistance is inevitable." Arya's voice was steady. "Prepare defensive systems, but remember our principle: strength must be matched by strategy, not recklessness. We will outthink them, not just outfight them." The enemy fleet struck, sending a series of energy pulses toward the Titan. The ship's shields absorbed the impact, and Helix calculated evasive maneuvers in milliseconds. The crew moved with practiced precision, each member performing their role perfectly. Drones launched to intercept incoming attacks, shields were reinforced at critical points, and the Titan's adaptive engines allowed it to weave through the enemy's assault. Hours passed as humans and aliens engaged in a tense dance of strategy, intelligence, and precision. The enemy underestimated the crew's coordination and problem-solving skills. Each attempt to overwhelm the Titan was countered with clever tactics, diversions, energy redirections, and calculated maneuvers that preserved the ship while frustrating the attackers. During a brief pause in the attack, Helix transmitted a critical report. Captain Singh, analysis indicates the enemy fleet's command is centralized in a mobile station located within the structure's core. Disabling it will neutralize their offensive capability. Arya nodded. Then we go for the source. Full tactical plan, execute now. The Titan moved toward the ancient structure. Its crew worked in unison, bypassing energy barriers, analyzing defenses, and plotting a path through the maze-like orbit. Every obstacle was met with careful thought and precise action. Unlike other species that relied on overwhelming power, humans relied on strategy, intelligence, and teamwork. Finally, the Titan reached the core station. Using a combination of energy pulses, controlled magnetism, and synchronized maneuvers, they disabled the central command without harming the structure itself. The alien fleet faltered immediately, their attacks ceasing as their control systems failed. "Excellent work, crew," Arya said, her voice calm but filled with pride. "Human ingenuity prevails." As the dust settled, a holographic figure appeared on the Titan's bridge. It was the same ancient alien race that had once observed humanity's first contact, the ones who had whispered of humans' unpredictability. "You have passed the ultimate test," the figure said. "You demonstrated not only power but wisdom, ethics, and the ability to protect without destroying. Few civilizations achieve this. Humans, you are worthy of your place among the stars." Arya bowed her head respectfully. "We act as we must." "Power is meaningless without responsibility." The alien nodded. "Your actions have proven that humanity is not a threat but a force of balance and creation. The Council's ban is lifted. You may continue to explore, protect, and expand your reach responsibly." The announcement spread quickly. Across the galaxy, humans were no longer seen as a potential danger, but as a species to admire and trust. Other civilizations began reaching out, seeking collaboration rather than confrontation. Even the secret faction of the Council, which had once tried to sabotage the Titan, recognized the ingenuity, ethics, and courage of humans. Slowly, the ban was officially removed, and humans were granted the freedom to deploy advanced technology in service of exploration and protection. On Earth, celebrations erupted. Humanity had faced skepticism, fear, and outright hostility, yet they had proven themselves through intellect, creativity, and restraint. The Titan had become a symbol, not of war, but of human potential and the promise of a brighter future. Arya and her crew returned to the observation deck, gazing at the stars with a quiet sense of accomplishment. "We've done more than survive," Marco said, smiling. "We've shown that humans can lead without domination, protect without destruction, and solve problems no one else could." Arya nodded. "This is only the beginning. Humanity's role in the galaxy is just starting to take shape. And we will continue to rise, not with fear, but with hope, courage, and intelligence." The Titan continued its journey, moving from one star system to another. Each mission reinforced humanity's reputation as problem solvers, diplomats, and guardians. Whether facing natural disasters, interstellar anomalies, or the remnants of ancient civilizations, humans always found solutions through ingenuity and teamwork. One mission took them to a system with unstable planets on the verge of collision. The Titan's crew worked tirelessly to stabilize gravitational forces, using advanced calculations and energy modulation. The planets were saved, and life flourished where destruction had once been imminent. In another mission, they mediated a conflict between two alien species that had been at war for centuries. Using logic, diplomacy, and human empathy, they helped forge a peace agreement that had seemed impossible. Every success reinforced the truth. Humans were unique among the stars. Their strength was not just in technology, but in thought, ethics, and collaboration. The galaxy began to adopt human strategies, seeking guidance in ways to solve problems without resorting to aggression. The Titan became more than a ship. It became a legend. Children across planets learned of its voyages, and leaders from distant systems sought humanity's counsel. Humans were no longer seen as new and inexperienced. They were respected as innovators, protectors, and leaders. Despite the accolades, Arya remained humble. She knew that the Titan's power was only as meaningful as the choices made by its crew. "We must never forget why we exist," she reminded her team. "Strength is a tool, not a weapon. Knowledge is a responsibility, not a prize." Humanity must continue to rise with integrity, courage, and wisdom. As the Titan moved toward a newly discovered galaxy, Arya reflected on the journey. From the first launch to the confrontation with the Galactic Council, from sabotage attempts to the triumph over the alien fleet, humans had faced every challenge with ingenuity and ethics. The trials had been many, but each had forged humanity into a species worthy of its place among the stars. Helix spoke softly from the bridge console. "Captain Singh, long-term projections indicate that humanity's influence in the galaxy will expand steadily. Probability of successful integration with other civilizations, high," Arya smiled. "Then we continue, forward, always forward." In the distance, a faint message appeared on the Titan's communications array. A signal from an uncharted galaxy, filled with mysteries and challenges yet unknown. Humanity's journey was far from over. The Titan would lead the way, not with aggression, but with intelligence, courage, and the desire to protect and explore. The crew looked out at the stars, knowing that their work was only beginning. Every planet saved, every civilization helped, every problem solved was a testament to human spirit. In a galaxy filled with powerful civilizations, humans had proven that the greatest strength was not destruction, but creation. As the Titan sailed onward, it left a trail of hope, innovation, and inspiration across the cosmos. Humanity had risen above fear and doubt, proving that courage, intelligence, and ethics could triumph over suspicion and prejudice. And in the vast expanse of the universe, one truth shone brighter than any star. Humanity was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The Titan moved forward, a beacon of human potential, a guardian of peace, and a symbol of a species that refused to be defined by limits. Across countless star systems, beings whispered of the humans who could rise to any challenge, solve the impossible, and lead the galaxy with wisdom and integrity. The journey of humanity had only begun. The galaxy would remember the Titan, not as a weapon, but as proof that even in the cold darkness of space, the light of human ingenuity could shine brighter than any star. Captain Arya Singh stood at the observation deck once more, watching the infinite horizon. She felt pride, hope, and resolve. "Humanity," she whispered, "this is just the beginning." And with that, the Titan accelerated toward the next adventure, ready to face the unknown with courage, intellect, and heart.